gonna call the Park and Recreation Commission meeting to order, April 7th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. So do we have public forum? We sort of have public forum. Would you like to introduce yourself, Justin, to everybody? I put you on the spot. You can answer.
I'm the new program coordinator. I'm thankful and grateful to be here, working with the town of Guilford to be part of this wonderful department. And I'll tell you a little about myself. I'm 29, I'm turning 29 tomorrow, so.
Here.
I'm from Milford, Connecticut, born and raised there. I have an extensive background in recreation and athletics. My father's worked in the field for 38 years, so growing up with always around this department, going to camps, and I worked seasonally for his department here in Stanford for about 10 years. So I was a camp counselor, working events, trips, programs. Been around my entire life, love recreation. As for other departments, I worked for the town of Millingly for a year. I'm the recreation program supervisor, so very similar to what I do here. I'm working with youth, running camps, with summer camps, basketball leagues, events and trips, different programs for kids and all that. Athletically, I worked in rep schools, the Westminster School with the Arnold Farm. Commander both of them at Westminster there for almost 3 years, and Avon was just temporary for a couple months. Well, those were both good jobs. Working with high school age kids, freshmen through postgrad there, so 14 through 19. And I've also worked in college athletics. I was the assistant coach at Western England for a few years. Played soccer collegiately, so I found that, and also went to my school athletic department, so I had strong background in athletic recreation, working with youth, people of all ages, and every job I've been in, I look to build on what's already really successful and looking to fill in the gaps, whether it's adding a new program, getting more organized, and this and that, and just that's what I'm looking to do here. Things the success of the department and what's going well, with that, more camps, trips, events, whatever it may be, have the community get involved. People enjoy the kind of Guilford and fun.
Great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, we're happy to have him. He's been crushing the things that he's been given so far. And I look forward to seeing what he can bring that's something a little different in certain areas. And so it's been Rob are connecting right
Yes.
away.
Great.
It's been a nice time so
And we're
far.
fine, so that's all that matters.
Yeah. Isn't it nice? Yeah, it is nice.
Yes, thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thanks, Dominic.
You don't have to
You
stay.
don't have to stay. Thanks for coming in.
Have a good night, Justin. See you tomorrow.
Ending a decade.
Gotta get-
Okay, correspondence. Any questions, comments? We had a lot of correspondence.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, it's not, that's not all my correspondence. That is what I think that the commission find made it maybe pertinent. You're out in the community and you can get ahead of it because you read it. You know, but
I have to say, the one thing in the correspondence that really sort of, made me sad was that they took away the summer learning pathways
me too.
program.
Yep.
I think that's very unfortunate, and it,
That's the impact.
well. Sorry.
I will look at all the correspondence, and the first one about the, the residents of Guilford Point and the Joyce being their spokesperson. I think you answered it really well.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's have you heard anything back from her since you responded to
Yeah,
her?
yes, I did. I thought maybe no, her response back was, thank you so, the feeling that you got that she was anxious about when she first just came right now.
Good.
Right down. She was very pleased with my response. She was pleased with some of the outcomes of things we're gonna be doing. And yeah, good, very good. Yeah.
Mike? Well, Mike
No,
is
no, I was
saying
just
we're
waiting to her to say to her.
Laura?
Yeah, no, you took the words right out of her mouth. I mean, she nailed it. She's dead on in every points and everything. And you responded very well to it. It is amazing. I'm down on a regular basis. And the amount of stuff that is left behind, clothes, shoes, it's just around the splash pad. It's just,
Yeah, it's my mind.
I just grab it and throw it in the garbage.
And I don't know her well. I was an acquaintance of hers, and she is the one that built that massive, huge new house. So of course, they're gonna see people on the roof of the
Mhm.
or whatever.
Yes. Yeah. And you know, the gate is sometimes problematic, you know, if there are cars that are, she talked about the gate either not being locked or left open, but if there are cars there, when our park ranger gets there, we're not locking them in.
You can't lock them in.
And I've talked to the police department about it. I think at one time Rick tried to do that. They put notices on all the windshields. But the police don't want to come out with, because there's people locked in there. So the bottom line is, we leave the gate open. The park ranger may spin around to the different locations, lock them up, come back and see if he has another opportunity to lock the gate. Yeah, it's what it is.
And we're gonna have a gate guard at Chittenden.
Gonna have a gate guard.
Interesting.
I think there's enough
think it's
people that are interested. I mean, we made this change.
Yeah.
I think we should, there's about 40 spots at Chittenden. There's no reason why we can't, for those that are parking there, and if they're gonna be making their way out with beach bags and all that kind of stuff, they need to have a sticker. So,
So, how are they going to feel comfortable with that role? Because that's one of the things I think I read in that woman's mail also. is
they're
that
young.
They're young. They really don't know how to deal with an adult who's being belligerent or whatever. So is there some training they're gonna try to give them? I mean, we should try to do something for them to.
So my idea was, and so far it's coming to fruition, is to hire our park ranger who showed interest.
Oh,
Lisa, who works at the schools.
okay,
She's an adult.
adult, yeah,
And
okay.
she's interested.
Yeah,
So
good.
I think that's the spot for her.
Mhm.
They did have problems last year, people buying past at the beach.
No, because it was open, non-residents can come in buy a whole seasonal, so there, listen, we're gonna get some pushback, I'm sure. But so far, so good, it hasn't been terrible.
Good.
At all, it's actually been. I think the residents are. They approve of it. I went to a meeting this past Saturday morning. I did a presentation with the independent group. And talked about all the different changes, and they were really happy about it.
Any other thing on correspondence? All right, can we get a motion to approve the minutes from the March 3rd meeting? Okay, any additions, deletions, corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? We're all here. Okay, review the community center room fees.
So Mary had sent out an email prior to here, and the only information that Ellen Poole was from municipal group would then the Guilford Youth and Family. And they have, I guess, plays here. I don't know a lot about that, but they currently have quite a few days worth of plays. They are charged that fee. The total was $980 for the year. And they had one other thing, some sort of learning classes or something that was much less. That might have been $280 for the year. Those are like the only two. We do have municipal groups here, but typically if it's during the week, like our HR director is here doing lunch and learn sessions. None of those are charged. There's no fee for that. Yeah, and again, during this presentation I had on Saturday, one of the women from the fundraiser, the fundraiser for graduation fundraiser, they had about 200 plus people here last year, and this is another one of those examples that fueled what type of proposals we're making, because I mean, it's a lot of work, that many people. And she happened to be there when I was discussing some of these things that we were looking at. And it was great, because she adamant, she said, we lived through that change, we think it's great. So even though it was school function but listen, we gotta keep the lights on here. We have one custodian, there's a lot of maintenance that needs to take place. So they were completely happy with the change. And understood the fee. And also felt that Charles from Board of Selectmen was there. He asked, what did I think the percentage of non-residents versus residents was with room rentals? And I said, that's, you're hit me quick with it. I said, but if I had to guess, I would say about 35-40% non-resident. And, you know, that's a large number. And sometimes one gal that was there, she's from Land Trust. They often schedule room use. And she said on a few occasions, there's times when they can't get the room because there's somebody else in it. And so I think it's important to take a look at this. I do think it's important. My goal is not to raise residents' fees. There are slight changes there, like the weekends. Because there are times when if there's no scheduled use in this building for the weekend, we wouldn't bring the custodian in. So to come up with a minimal cost to bring the custodian and open up the building, you know, I think that that's appropriate.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So do you need a motion? We need a motion
Karen?
to change this? Karen? And then
Here.
Mary, and then Mary. So when it says for the proposed new fees, it says weekday, then Friday night, weekend, and then large groups of 75. Does that apply to large groups of 75 during the week?
We don't normally have too much of that,
Just
but
saying in
but it's
case
a
it
good
comes up.
point. It's a very
And
good
then I
point.
have one little typo,
And I-
if this is going
okay.
somewhere, is it going
It's
anywhere?
not.
It just says fees are due, it should be DUE.
Oh,
Just in case you're printing it somewhere.
absolutely.
I didn't even see.
That's a very good point about the.
There could be on like a Thursday night if,
Yeah.
you know, or something, I mean, there could be during the week.
Yes, there could be, and it's a really good point. So I think that we should make that adjustment.
Not great.
Mary?
Mary, kind of in the context of the grief group that was in the correspondence. And they're concerned about, they're a very small nonprofit, they can't pay.
Is that the code?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So their fees will go up.
So I,
Like 20 years.
I gave you the correspondence, right? I don't know how deep the correspondence, because I went back again, and no, and then I called,
Oh,
she wanted a
wanted
phone
to
call. But I've worked with enough nonprofits over the year, and again, we spoke about this on Saturday as well. No names mentioned, good work, sensitive work. However, it's not Guilford residents. The majority of it is out of this town. So I feel you got a darn good deal for a long time.
Yeah.
So when I called her and talked to her about it, I said, but you have a budget, correct? And they do have a budget. Their budget pays for all their salaries, all their part-time salaries, all their office supplies. And I said, but then why aren't you budgeting for a room?
yeah.
Right? So she goes, well, we will, but we never had to. So I said, and she goes, so starting July 1st, we can, and I have, mind you, they have all May and June dates in here. And I said, I can understand how you haven't budgeted for it. However, I think you should really go back and take a look at your budget and consider a donation to the community center
Karen's a
before July 1st. That would, you know, she said, oh, I think that's a great idea. So no, look, they were here and they use multiple rooms. They have 5 or 6 different rooms they use in the building.
For nothing. Cause
Yeah.
they break out.
I just want to go back to the large group comment. The way I would read it, it doesn't matter whether it's a weekday, Friday, weekend, it's just a large group 75 plus,
Yes, I agree.
That's- you know.
Yes. Because in the current room fee structure, they break it out. They break out everything and they break it out as, is it a dinner? Is it a show? Is it a dance? Is it a performance? We got rid of that.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't really matter, you
So-
know?
So what is so it is going to be during the week and on the weekend, okay?
Yes.
Do we need a motion to accept it?
I'll make a motion to accept the proposed fee structure change for the community center.
Second. We have more time for comment.
Yeah, good. Now we're open for discussion.
Okay. So with that, I'm wondering if municipal should be in that. I don't know how it can be.
In the weekend?
No, in the large group
Oh,
during the
large
week.
group.
I mean,
Like the town meetings.
yeah, there are meetings and hearings and I mean, frankly, we could have an issue coming up with Parks and Rec and we have a forum about a project we're doing and that could bring over 75 people. So I'm wondering if the 75 during the week, I get it on the weekend, but I'm wondering, or 50 or 75 people. I'm just wondering if in that instance, municipal should not be included.
Personally, I feel like it's municipal, so it's Matt, or it's us, or it's, I don't think it should be. I
That's
think
what I'm
it should be
saying.
waived.
That's what I'm saying, is that it in that line?
That you are part of this,
Exactly.
right?
So I think that
Somehow we
should
should-
separate it out.
Just the resident, non-resident fees and skip the municipal civic.
Right.
Oh, and nonprofit, you still
Nonprofit.
charge. So it has to be a forthcoming.
You know what, I feel like if you're comfortable with this, I feel what would be appropriate, because there's so many different categories of things.
Yeah.
That you leave it up to discretion. It'll depend on what it is and what they're here for and, right, so if it's a big public meeting, I would say we waive it. You know, but it could be like with Guilford Youth and Family, I mean, they have a budget, they expect that they're going to pay the $20, you know, to have a room during the weekend, but.
No, I'm not, but I thought we were talking about during the week. I'm talking about if we're putting 75 or above as $50 an hour
Oh,
during the
sorry.
week. I think that's when it should
Be
not,
something, or not be.
well, no, I'm thinking of like town meetings or things, you know,
You're
hearings, things like that.
You're
should
thinking
be
of
waived.
of specific instances where you
I mean,
probably
on the
should.
weekend, it is different and there could be extenuating circumstances that something happens on the weekend, which is a big municipal thing too, and then you would have the power to waive that. But it just seems like
So we really, to me, should have two columns.
maybe in the,
Municipal,
it should be
and then-
municipal and then, I know
Yeah,
we were
then
going
we
away
have
from
about-
that.
I think we have to do that.
We could star it and put the star on the bottom, just like we did with the nonprofit up top. And say municipal, large municipal gatherings would be waived.
Just so it makes it clear to your,
Or just,
employees
just after,
as
but
well.
large groups of 75 no, but we also had to clarify, but then are we meeting during the week or the weekend or both?
Well, during the week, they are waived. But not 75 plus, like, right, so groups of
Yeah.
75.
Because it is true that if there's a large group on the weekend and it's municipal, you do have to bring people in.
That's right.
You do have to pay
Yes, you do.
extra.
Whether it's municipal or town meeting.
So that could be something that's still on there, cause it could vary depending on what the type of gathering is, I suppose. So there could be like direct, your park director's discretion, but that
Well, to Mary's point, when she wrote about splitting that out.
Going with.
yeah.
Right, because like, for instance, like, Rosa Delora is coming in here bringing 300 people,
Right.
but that's more civic, would you say, than it is municipal.
Indivisible type people, like the.
And and trust me, that was another one where my
Yeah,
head was
'cause that's
saying, I was
always-
like, there's so many people, what are we gonna do with this one person? And they were happy to pay more. They were absolutely.
Well, that often is the weekend.
another example would be like when we do have the concerts on the green, when they get rained out. That's
But we
on
haven't had them in
That
here.
doesn't happen.
Yeah, it
We
hasn't
have
happened.
that, no.
That doesn't
not that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Doesn't
happen
happen
in
on
the-
Right.
Yeah, no,
I think they did try years ago.
they did used to try it, never.
Didn't work, right?
No.
That's good.
So I have no problem. What I'll do is let me think that, how to word it. And I'll follow back in May,
Right.
just how it's listed, just to get a final approval.
But I think you have the essence of what
Yeah.
we would like.
Florence,
Okay.
in the note at the bottom, it says fees are due, should be due, DUE.
Yes,
Yes,
somebody
you said that.
pointed that out.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Lawrence, you had your hand up?
Yeah, so if we're reading it correctly, so then like if when the Guilford Land Trust has meetings here. Let's say during a week, they're gonna pay. No fee, right?
No fee.
Right.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
got it, thank you.
Any other questions on that before we move on? Okay, fence donation at Nut Plains by the Lacrosse Club.
Okay, so Tony went out. Checked out all the fences. Brought the information back to Ellen and I, and it looks that. Our recommendation would be either. commission's approval, either one banner per post excluding the outfield, because many people like to sit, if they can, like at Adams A, they can sit in the outfield and watch their kid from the outfield. Excluding the outfield posts, but they could put one banner per. If the commission felt that that was too much, because the fences are pretty big, that we could do every other, and it could still be fine, but I think my proposal would be, let's do every post, one banner. Excluding the outfield at Adams A. And then revisit it next summer. Everyone, we can get a chance to observe it, see if it looks too crazy, too much. If it does, we can revisit it. Change it. I couldn't tell you how it's gonna look one way or the other, and we don't even know if that they'll get enough sponsors to fill it. So there's just too many question marks. Adams has always been, but Adams has always been filled with banners. I can remember it when my kids were young, so just the other fields have been banned. So I think that would be my proposal. Let them have it, excluding that they understand at Adams A that they don't go to the direct outfield to block the parents' vision.
So who's talking about blocking the Little League? Who brought up about blocking the fence?
Ellen has experienced that, so in her experience, and we only have one field that would take place at, and that would be Adams A.
Yeah,
That many parents do bring their own chairs and they sit out in the outfield to watch their kids, and they don't want banners blocking them from
Yeah.
watching their kids.
what's the Little League's feeling on that?
I think I don't think that's the field. Is Adams A the field with all the banners?
Whoever's gonna use the field.
I don't know what their feeling is on that, and I'm not certain. Does anybody here know the field that Adams plays with all the banners? Do they call that Adams A?
It's the one
I
with the
think it is.
concession stand next to it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's Little League, right?
Yeah. So either they already do limit the banners in the outfield, because I haven't heard any complaints. It's just
There
that
are banners in the outfield.
Ellen was just suggesting
But they might be like, in.
every
separate,
other,
You know,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure there are
I
banners.
can have a talk with them about it and just see what they've done in the past, if they've ever had any complaints about people not being able to see their kids. But that would be our suggestion if the commission agrees.
Yes, my question, I'm just speaking of devil's advocate, if they're trying to raise revenue and they're worried about people, I mean, there's stands there, sitting in the stands. You know what I mean? So
But
they're gonna lose revenue. They're not gonna be happy, you know?
Yeah.
If you wanna sit there, that's your prerogative, but
I don't know if it's even a problem.
yeah, okay.
So let me find out if it's a problem first. I didn't hear from them that it was a problem,
Yeah,
but if it is, then I can. You either give me the lead to say, if you've always done it in the past. Then you've always done it in the past, because Adams has never been an issue. Meaning. They've always done it, and that's why they were so shocked, because they've been doing this for 20 years. You know, for us to come and just go,
yeah, I would say definitely run it by him.
yes, I will.
Any other comments on that? Go ahead.
I'm sorry if I missed the first second of what you said.
Okay.
But what I saw did we jump to banners did we jump to the bottom?
No, banners about the fence donation at the place. I'm sort of confused.
I know, I'm confused while we're talking, because I was thinking it was gonna be about Nut Plains.
I was gonna say that.
So I missed I realized what you were talking about, but I missed the step.
I'm sitting here thinking the same thing.
My fault, I'm thinking,
I picked up on it, but I was a little.
that's the banners on the bottom.
Right, okay.
So what's up?
So fence, we have not gotten there, he has not gotten back to us, so we're going right by that.
Okay, we,
Tony and I know nothing, we haven't met him, he hasn't responded back.
that's fine.
Sorry.
I'm thinking the same, yes.
Okay, so then if we already discussed NF, the banners, can I ask a question now that I know where we are?
Yeah.
Okay, just because I wasn't hearing it correctly, because I still had Nut Plains fence
Yes.
donation in my head, so it wasn't all absorbing. So what we just decided, so this is for all, are we just talking about Little League, or we're talking about any sports?
Talking at Nut Plains Park, we're talking about Long Hill Park, we're talking about
Okay.
Bittner Park.
So it is talking about all of them, but what we just discussed was what our recommendations are, so it's not too much and not blocking views and all that. This all
And the
makes more
only-
sense now.
And the only field that Tony said that would happen at would be Adams A. All other have wooded areas that you wouldn't be sitting at anyway. So he said the
Yeah,
only
I don't
area,
even, I don't know which one A is, but,
I think it's the concession stand.
but then they already have them, so I think they already know
Right.
where they're putting them.
I'll make sure I have that
Yeah.
covered.
I never know the fields by letters.
Yeah. I didn't either.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
All right, now we're all together here. The review and approval of the expenditures, so a motion to approve expenditures,
So moved.
second. Okay, Mike. All right, any discussion, any questions on expenditures? Always just have questions. All right. Let's vote on the motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Okay, director's report.
Okay. So, I'll touch on the playground under our unfinished business. I thought you might be interested in knowing about the capital improvement projects, and that's why I listed everything back to fiscal 22. You were curious why. Because when I first arrived here last year, there were so many different capital improvement projects that still were pending. So some are still pending. This fiscal 22 has been around for a while, but that's only because they had a very long time trying to commit to the vendor. We finally committed to the vendor and it's moving. So I just thought it would be very interesting to you all, since we just finished our budget and capital improvement plan for fiscal 26, which is not in here. And that Tony and I are really working hard to get them completed. So we're doing pretty well, Susan.
So, before you were here, I recall, Rick saying that we had already planned for the parking lot at Bittner in the back to be redone.
No, that was this commission approved it for fiscal 25. So
Okay,
he may have tried in the
yeah, maybe
past,
he was talking
but,
about it then, okay,
but I do know that is
I didn't see it
On the
here.
back burner.
It's just,
is it?
Yeah.
it's not on here, so.
26, right? I don't know, that's what it should be.
Oh, I'm sorry, fiscal 26.
Yeah.
This is 20.
We just approved it, this
Right.
group.
Okay.
So
I just made
if it goes through, it'll
Okay.
be, money will be available July 1st. That's why it's not on.
A lot of things good.
That's why you need to vote tomorrow.
Yes, yes, please. do.
Different topic, the brick fundraiser,
Yeah.
it's all concluded, when did bricks go in?
Well, it's all part of the timeline. And I still have to get, it's very hard to, I have to get quotes, make the design. Very hard for any contractor right now, goes down that site and says, oh, where is the rubber ending? Where is it starting?
Yeah.
So I believe that once the playground starts to get installed, which is supposed to be on site tomorrow. Next week looks like it's gonna be drier.
Okay.
I'm hoping for 3 weeks of that for install, then they'll start to get a better feeling as to where the entrance is going to be. Where does the rubber begin and end and form? So that walkway, I anticipate a May build, but they really, even like Bittner, I don't know if you remember, but Bittner had no ADA walkway when the playground was finished. And then I found an outfit and they just got on it and they finished it for the opening. But so I anticipate it might be something like that.
So May for both parks,
Been
there and just.
weather pending.
Yeah.
I'm not as concerned of Bittner. I'm more concerned with Jacobs right now because there's nothing wrong with Bittner. So when we get when we get everything in a row, it's all lined up, then we can start looking at Bittner after that.
Thank you.
Did we reach our goal?
We were over 250. They're still trickling in. We haven't stopped it because there's no reason to really stop it. But.
Good.
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, brought in, was $25,000. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Think that is?
And then other than that, the highlights of, you can see how Ellen's getting things ready for summer and spring, and we have some events coming up. We have Bring on Spring. Well, first of all, the Easter egg hunt this weekend, which does not look good. It looks like Swamp City. So that would be rain date for the following Saturday. And then the following Saturday after that is Spring on Spring, which is at Baldwin. And that's a annual event that this office has started for quite some time now, few years. And then we are busy scheduling all sorts of bands and things. Do we have that on the agenda for concerts? Yeah, we do.
Oh, really?
And Nick Fradiani and I go back and forth all the time, but he's not committing.
Okay.
And I have not heard back from his, I copied you on the second.
Management.
That's what he kept telling me to do.
Yeah. So that was.
It's not that he's ignored, like he responds to me,
Yes.
not that he's not.
Yeah.
But it's, he has an agent because he's so booked all the time and he's can't keep it on
Yes,
straight.
but
So
maybe we should book him for next year
that's, yeah.
then. So,
That might be the way.
And I've
So-
already mentioned that to him too. So, yeah.
all right, so my report, other than those things, if anybody has any questions in regards to.
Nope.
All right.
Okay. All right, staff report, Standing Fields.
Standing Field, we did meet. Climatic, we talked about. Yeah, they talked about the turf field, right?
Lawyers, letters,
Yeah,
nothing resolved.
no,
There's gonna be a walk.
yeah, we're looking to do a spring walkthrough. And that was about it. Much else to do, it really. You know, I think the issue with the standing building committee, and I had a talk with John afterwards, is that started about 20-something years ago.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You mean
When the
field-
fields
you
were, the
you mean
fields,
fields.
standing
Standing
fields.
Yeah.
And it was when, it came at a time when the fields were in very poor shape. And then, you know, turf fields were coming in and all their work was really important to have all this professional feedback. But our fields are all doing pretty good right now. And so I think there's really a little bit of that standstill and are we still needed type of thing. So, we'll see where.
I think that, I do think they have. I do think they have ownership though. They really care about the fields. And it's good to have that as a watch card in case something.
Pair of second eyes.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think they're feeling as if. What type of work do we have left here?
Yeah.
Don't know where it's going yet. We just had a short conversation about it.
Okay, Green Committee?
Green Committee, I did meet with the Green Committee and. We discussed, I gave them a heads up on. The fact that the Fan Fest is coming back. That's the Gilmore Girl
Mhm.
Fest. We've been working closely with the director of that fest, the couple from Texas. And the town is very excited to join Parks and Rec with them and the chamber with them. And to get them out of the fairgrounds and onto the town green.
Oh.
Wow.
Interesting.
So we are planning to have their home base be the town green so that it was just a little bit too far of walking distance
Mhm.
for the people that were attending. They really felt like and then when they were at the fairgrounds, they didn't feel completely connected to the community.
Yeah.
And the community and the businesses really love that attention.
Yeah.
All those people.
Oh, they were all over. It's great.
Yes,
Yeah.
so. Go ahead, Mike.
Wasn't there a lot of stuff inside though?
There was, because inside, like, we had stuff going on inside here, and then they had,
At the fairgrounds.
they did, they had their schedule, because that's where they had it scheduled. So we're gonna have big tents, or they are, on the green where they would hold those same things, right? So, they're fully aware of it, but
My only thought when I was reading that today was, I'm a huge Gilmore Girls fan, so I think it's wonderful. And we need the gazebo, but we'll talk about that. But anyhow, cause it's paid, you pay for it. So like, it's
That's
gonna
right.
be interesting if it is on the green, which I hope it is. But then you get normal, it's a whole weekend thing. So you get people that are just generally in town and thinking that they can just start participating. And that's when it can be, I think, kind of become a
Dicey.
problem. Because I know for the handcraft, they put all that fencing around. So that was my only thought today, was thinking, how do they do that? How do
Well, they gotta
manage that?
fence it in the same way they do for
Yeah.
handcrafts.
right.
They charge about
There.
$400.
It's not cheap.
Yeah.
They have, whatever the art fest, it's every 2 years.
Yeah,
They have tents and they don't have fences, I don't think.
yeah, they
The
do,
green stage?
they do.
I don't remember.
Oh, green stage, you mean?
Green stage.
Oh,
They had sidewalls to their, but
but
a
most
lot
of,
of it's free.
a lot of it's free.
Yeah.
They had the,
Yeah.
things that were free, like they have the fundraising dinner on the Green Under Town.
Right, you pay for that, right,
I have
right.
another question, follow up to that, do people pay the town for use of the green?
Yes,
Oh, it's not Parks and Rec.
I believe so. Or,
Yes. The reason we got involved was they wouldn't, the rules to the town green use are only if you're sponsored by a town group. And it seemed,
They needed us.
right, they needed us, the town wanted us also, plus we were already sponsoring, they paid for our room use and everything last year too. But we just think it's for the good of the town and the businesses to keep, but I think it's a great question and we'll be meeting again. So I will bring that up.
So will they be paying us to use the green?
I don't know the exact detail on that. I know our economic development director, John, is also been working closely with Jenny. And I've been the meetings that I've been on with them on Zoom. It is Beth from Flutterby, John, Dee from the chamber and myself. And so I haven't gotten into the fees except for our own community center, but I'll that's a very, very, very good point.
and like, I know like with the handcraft, they also give money towards whatever the green committee needs to do to redo the seat, the wrap and all that, they do pay for that as well, so.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But all the town businesses do very well because all
Exactly.
these people are
Exactly.
eating, buying, and having fun in Guilford, so that
And now we need to gazebo.
without a
So the other thing I mentioned to the green, I had to let them know that we were also doing the Country Bluegrass Fest on July 26th. That our intentions are to reach out to all the, oh gosh, it's the the vegetable farmers market.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be reaching out to the farmers market and have them all on the green during our fest, just kind of fits together, right? And so my question to them was, is there any reason why the farmers market has never been invited on the green? Rather than going to the fairgrounds?
Well, it's probably because it's an agricultural, whatever that organization is, the Guilford
it's
Agricultural
agricultural.
Society. It's a big fundraiser.
it's a- Right.
But I know that it seems to me when I've gone there, the crowd's gotten less and less. They're tucked in the back corner. They're out of view, out of mind. And when I talked to the vendors and I had said just personally when I was down there looking at their things, has anybody ever asked about the green? And they said, we would love to be on the green.
Yeah, Madison and
Right,
both do
You've
theirs
got
on.
traffic.
Maybe taping this too.
Right, so anyway, they were not opposed, they said that they never heard of anybody asking about the town green, so they're very anxious to see how this goes this summer. With the farmer's market on there with us.
How are you going through the Ag Society to talk to them about it? Is that what you're doing?
No, I'm not doing that, what I'm doing right now is just letting the green committee know that we're gonna be inviting them for a fee. To
Okay,
join our fest for the weekend.
okay, yeah,
And
okay,
that may fuel some conversation if they
Okay.
do really well, right? Cause it's gonna draw people.
Yep.
The fest will draw people, farmers market will draw people. So they were receptive to it, which I thought was great.
It would be an interesting evolution of the farmer's market if there could be a partnership between the agricultural society
Mhm.
on the green, because that's where the Guilford Fair used to be.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
And that's their baby, right?
Right, and I don't know how much they charge. I don't know that they would charge the farmer's market. I really don't know anything about that. But I can't imagine they're gonna charge them the same as they charge, the Taco Fest or the Balloon Fest that comes in, which has no affiliation. A lot of the farmers markets don't live in town either, but, so I just thought it was very interesting that all these years it's gone by and just what a key location. Yes, traffic is traffic.
Yeah, that's always what people complain about.
Yes, this isn't a Saturday, this is kind of a,
But it would be to their advantage, you would see them.
right.
How many Thursdays do you forget to go down there? Because you don't see it.
But I also don't wanna step on the toes of, like, the agricultural
Right.
society is a great,
Exactly.
and I wanna be able to be supportive of them as well, to do what
Exactly.
they do. So,
I do too, it could be tricky.
absolutely.
But
Yep.
they do complain that sometimes they don't get enough traffic.
Yeah, yes,
Oh, it's gotten
Yes.
small.
I know.
yes, absolutely.
Okay, land acquisition,
Nothing to add.
concert committee.
Rose.
Oh.
Happy to speak if you want.
Wait, and you know what? I left all those papers home.
All right,
yes,
so-
I would like to do that. But
So we have been very active. We have met multiple Wednesdays in a row. We have filled the Thursday night
Thursday's done.
schedule. It's done. Matter of fact, I have sealed the deal with the very final Sunday night concert, which was a Tom Petty tribute band. So that is done. And we are all still working on the country bluegrass. It's gonna be called Wings and Strings.
the sauce is boss.
The Sauces Boss contest will be part of the fest. What is that? It is asking restaurants to donate their best sauce and become the boss of the sauce. And we will have, you would buy like $10 to dip into whoever submitted their sauces. And that money will go back to, community dining room, green stage and Parks and Recreation to help pay for the fest. Yeah, so we are still going back and forth on we have a couple bluegrass in mind, in one country. Still some discussion on that, confirming up on that. And then the fireworks band is still open, depending on who we choose for the Wings and Strings. I did reach out to them today. They'd be happy to move. The country band would be happy to go to the fireworks if necessary. So the concert committee meets again this Wednesday.
So we did Keith Urban.
Keith Urban. We better stall that. You have a.
Talk to us about it.
I can ask Nick if he knows.
Yeah, yeah.
That I'll do.
Wait, am I imagining it, but during the American Idol thing?
Yeah,
He was here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because they were really, he commented really nicely about Guilford and.
So, yeah.
Who knows?
He was wearing sunglasses.
Billy Joel was at one of our, do you know Billy Joel was at one of our Guilford Fair?
Yeah, he used to come.
He was
across-
probably with Mike
I sat,
Delgucci.
I sat behind him.
And I'm actually going to Mike Delgucci at the Cape on May 1st because he's gotten so big.
Yep.
I asked him if they would play here, it was $28,000. Oh. The potato nest for $5,000.
Make you feel a little bit in there. Wow.
And Dennis or Julia Roberts at the fair one.
Oh, yeah.
So Pam, the idea or the objective was to get tickets that were gonna cost less than what we did in the past.
We are being more mindful, yes, because the town has decided that it's taking an additional $60,000 out of our programming account. Is where we normally fund the fireworks, all the Sunday concerts, I'm concerned, I am concerned, yeah, so we are definitely being mindful. We have our Thursdays night concerts are always local. Nothing over 1,500. Our Sunday concerts last year, there were a handful of $6,500 bands. We do not have one $6,500. Our highest is 3,000.
So you're being successful in finding people.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes. They're still managed, some of those are still managed.
Good ones.
And then, yeah, it's a nice mix.
Yeah, tried to get a little of everything. Some tribute, couple of tributes.
Yeah, so it went down, it was about 40,000 to right now it's just under 30.
And then we're also looking to sell some sponsorship.
Yes,
Thank you.
Once we solidify all the bands, we know who they are, we know how much they cost, we're going to be putting it out for sponsorship.
That's a great idea.
And matter of fact, at the independent group on Saturday, when I mentioned that to them, I was pulled aside afterwards and said, can you please send me a sponsorship application? I would love my business to be on there. Yeah, so I bet we would see,
It'll defray the cost somewhat,
It will
which is
defray.
really important. So that matters. Okay. All right, unfinished business, new playground update, sort of updated.
yeah, I updated a little bit, I'm weather pending, it's gonna be a stretch, still doable, thinking positive. But I'm hoping that by May 1st, everything will be installed, and by May 1st through May 20th is when the rubber will be poured. We have had discussions in my office about, let's consider doing the pavilion stonework underneath the pavilions, because why not? And there's a lot of moving pieces, it's possible that we could do that. We have some funding in our park improvement, we've fundraised $25,000, we may have additional funding left over because the town Public Works Department has saved us so much money.
Oh, good.
So I believe that we'd be able to do that. We did get a quote from Mike Carrera in town. It is, if we buy the stone, which is about $6,000, he could do the work for about $22,000. But still, that's, you know, it's almost a to be bid, which if we have to bid it, then it sets us out about 4 weeks. So it's just that time. So I potentially am gonna have a conversation with Matt to see if Mike Guerrera had donated all his time and put in the walkways to the splash pad when it was built.
Oh, he did.
So,
So we're kind of.
so in some ways, they call it proprietary. It would be, you could see why you would wanna go with Mike.
Yeah.
It's timing. We don't wanna do it later than Memorial Day. He's a Guilford native. He's given us a good price. He could get it done now. After all this timing is so tight.
Mhm.
If he could do it, will they consider waiving the bid? So,
Do they have to vote on, I mean, how does that work?
well,
Board of Finance have to get involved?
no. So it's usually a board of selectmen. However, I wonder, I have to have a conversation with Matt and see if there's any way, do we need to wait 2 more weeks for it to go on the board of selectmen? Can phone calls be made? I don't know. So I'll talk to him about it and we'll see if it's any possibility. If it's not, I mean, it's not terrible to have to wait. It's just that it's summer and it's gonna be busy and we're all ready to whole month of May and won't let anybody rent it. And there's been so
Wow.
many rentals we declined. Because it's gonna, there's birthday parties, they can't use them, there's no playground. There's gonna be no playground, right? There's gonna be construction and it's not gonna be lovely for May. So it would be, while everything's ripped up and torn up, get the shower in between the pavilions, get the stonework done, it'd be beautiful. We wanna match it with the same color that goes to the splash pad. You know, it makes sense, just do it. So I'm gonna go for it.
I will say, I've had a couple of people who have mentioned to me how nice Vintner is. They love the playground there.
Got Benny.
Yeah, I've got a couple of people mentioned,
Always families there, always kids.
yeah.
Yeah, speaking of, sort of related, but my son and daughter-in-law go up to Vintner playground all the time and they say the cars just fly through there. You know, go and they say they're going up, as far as they can tell, they're going up to the pickleball. So I don't know if there's anything, I
Good point.
mean, there's
There's a lot of crazy drivers in that.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
it's real discouraging to hear that.
Yes, some speed bumps.
There's kids, that, you know, we all, you know, I'm sure majority of has kids, I mean, fortunately, sometimes kids get away from you.
Yeah, I wonder if we could
Oh,
put
and
like
she
a
said-
drive slow cone in the middle. You know how sometimes that might.
Yeah, and like
Cause
crosswalks.
that parking lot, when you're trying to, it's long. I mean, people can pick it up.
What
Pick
about
up
speed
speed.
bumps?
What about
Yeah,
rubber
speed
speed
bumps.
bumps? Yeah, you just.
Cause then you don't have to worry about a sign.
People are absolutely flying.
I believe it.
I believe it too.
Yes, I don't.
You generally have to worry about snow plowing.
Something or do something or.
Yeah,
That's a
I
good
can
point,
look
Lois.
into.
Could you stand out there and
Take some work
Can
with
you
that.
stand out there and tell them to slow down?
That's $50 an hour, I will.
Not in our.
I will.
My husband would.
thought, and I'm not sure if it's just a random thought in my head about if we go to the bricks for a minute and all the work that Public Works has done.
Yeah.
Thought about.
Oh, nice idea. Well, what I
Work with Guilford Public Works.
I don't know how many people watch this, but
I know.
I just nominated both Dave Castro and Tony Aniselli for Employee of the Month. And I just put the nomination on Friday, so for all the work that they have done and how easy
Yes.
they were to respond and how welcoming they want to save the town money.
Put a
They
brick
do.
on each playground might be nice just to recognize that.
Yeah, they did a great job at the Blue Star Memorial.
Oh, good.
Was it Friday? Yeah, Friday. Did a
Yeah.
real- And they were very appreciative of everything that they did.
Was there a ceremony?
There was a
Yes.
ceremony.
So that was Parks Department. That was definitely Tony.
Tony, yes,
Yes.
and he was there that day too. He came to-
All right, Bittner Seafield Conversion Project.
It's in the hands of the gentleman that Tony had found, and now Tammy and the Little League are working together because Little League is gonna be the one that's paying for the vendor.
Right.
I understand it's not going as fast as they want it to go, but it's certainly raining like buckets. So, yeah, it's there. We reached out, gentleman knows, but your hands are tied to a contractor.
Let's take these all at once. It's the three Eagle projects, the dog park, Jacobs and Lake Quanapug. Are they moving along?
So, dog park, he went ghost. I have not talked to him. I reached out to him.
Okay,
I
I think it's time to just let it go.
so I haven't heard anything. I met with him at the dog park. This is going back probably in December.
Right.
Lovely. I suspect, at that age, when you're trying to do so many things, he's probably just so busy, but I have reached out and said, and I haven't gotten a
Also
response
wants to
back.
get his Eagle.
Yeah, so
I mean, there's time for that.
we'll keep it on here. We'll
Yeah.
keep it on here and I'll report again. Jacob's Beach, Tony met with Brandon.
Good.
And they picked out a location, so we're gonna be moving forward with that. And then Brendan, it was a Brandon and a Brendan.
Yeah.
And he is ready to start April 12th.
Oh, great
So
weekend.
Yep, he reached out, he said everything, got all the approval he's needed, all the supplies he needs, and they are starting Saturday.
Sorry, I wasn't at that meeting, but I read the minutes. Was that about the electricity?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's paying for it. We're not paying for it.
We are not paying for it. The commission did say if he runs into any trouble with donations that, or any type of monetary issues, that he could come back and we would consider looking at whatever shortfall he had, but I haven't heard of any shortfall.
And I do know he's been doing some fundraising. I mean, like, as we
Yeah.
asked him to, but I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen it,
Good.
that he's doing that, so we'll see.
Okay. New business. I actually had one thing I wanted to bring up. In our bylaws that we have. And it has to do with the elections, and it says immediately after appointment, the members of the commission shall meet and elect a chairperson and other such officers as may be necessary for the period of 1 year. I would like to add to that, I'd like to make a motion to add to that, that the election needs to be posted in the agenda prior to the meeting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Makes sense.
That's fine. Would somebody second the motion?
I'll second.
Any discussion on it? I think we do need to know ahead of time.
Yeah.
what this
I
is.
agree.
Agreed.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And that's.
So
to
I'll
be-
send you the wording.
And I don't know if we changed this, but that is written from when the commission was first started, so it says once appointed. So it's not once appointed, it should be once a year. I don't remember exactly what you said, because I had looked at it myself.
Because the appointments now, yes.
Because it, you know what I mean,
that seems like it was written from the start,
We could add the month.
that it should be posted, but we don't now have a time.
People are appointed, yes, because people are appointed to this commission in February. We are all, everybody, it's been changed so that, instead, like if you don't come on any, everybody's been changed to February for this commission. If you look at the parking.
I s-
So
still read
it'll
it,
always
it's
be,
not
in
clear.
so everybody new will come on in February. That changed a while,
And how long is that
No, I knew that.
appointment?
1 year.
No, the
Oh,
chair, the
three.
board, the,
3 years.
3 years. And then
Oh, it's
then
4
you could be,
It's for.
I think it's 4 years.
is it 4?
Yeah,
3 years is 4.
I think it's
4.
4.
And I was nominating chair.
What?
I says, I was nominating chair for years. You think I'd know that? And then you can be reappointed for another.
Okay, and then after
Then
8
you're off.
years, then you have to go up.
You have to,
Because that's
you're
different.
right, it is 8.
And then how long do you have to be off?
A year.
A year.
Okay. Motion to adjourn? So we will adjourn the meeting at 7:27.
Thanks, everybody.
I just wanted to see if we could plan a pickleball meeting.
Hey, Tara.
They're not here. Get together.
So she didn't come to see me today, you're not to be in your. I thought about seeing. I thought about calling, I thought about listening, I froze on the phone.
I know.
And then I had to go.
Do you know how many people came in today at 4:30?